Look, I don't know how you guys see this playing out, but me, like when I'm just looking at this on paper, it just doesn't look good, right? Like when you look at this European squad, and we were just talking about this hype men situation, right? Like when you look at this European squad, like, and you see the experience that they have. I mean, how many have Justin Rose played in? Maury McIlroy, John Rahm, Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood. I mean, these guys all can play together. Their games complement each other. I mean, I really wouldn't be shocked to see McIlroy and Lowry play Friday and Saturday together, morning and afternoon session, and just light it up. I mean, they're really good at playing together, playing off each other, and playing in match play. And we've talked about this many times. Joe and I kind of still debate on this back and forth. It's match play is a different animal than stroke play. You lose a hole, you're not down a few strokes. You're just down one hole.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of opportunity for mind games. And I still believe that Rory McIlroy was not upset after Saturday's session 2 years ago. He just kind of used that opportunity to fly off the handle, to get fire going under his team, because when they left the course that day, Cantlay had US coming into Sunday on fire. And Rory screaming and yelling at, I don't even remember who the caddy was,
Oh,
outside the clubhouse. Who was it?
Joe LaCava.
Yeah, screaming at him outside the clubhouse, squashed all that, and our fire was gone. I just feel like he knew exactly what he was doing in that moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how well this is going to go. I think they need to find something over these next couple of weeks in these tune-up sessions. I think the crowd really has to play a big part in this. There's a lot of, you watch baseball and football now, and you see a lot of Instagram fans out there. And what I mean is, like, they're selling out the stadiums, but they just jumped on the bandwagon, and they're there just to post a photo that they got to be there. And they're really not rooting. I'm just hoping that the people that are at this Ryder Cup are not just Instagram fans. We need golf enthusiasts out there. We need USA fans. We need people that are going to come out, wave flags, get dressed up, start chains. This place needs to be loud from
That,
1 to 18.
and that's where it becomes a problem, right?
Yeah.
Because like I don't know what happens in Europe. Um, I think the first visible signs of this were in the NHL 10 years ago, probably 15 years ago, um, where you started to lose all of these rabid, ravenous fans because prices are getting so expensive that all of the tickets are going to corporations and like these like corporate like events and stuff like that. So like you're still selling the tickets, right? And you're always going to sell out. But the higher the ticket price, the less like true hardcore fans you're going to get at this event. So we were talking before we started recording, what's it, 750, 775 just to get in the gate for a single day. You set a price like that and you're going to have some crazy hardcore nut jobs, right? But you're also going to have a lot of button down corporate guys that are there with their boss or with a client, right? And that can't really go full all out like that, right? So I think we're putting ourselves in a little bit of a corner by having those ridiculously high prices. I don't know what it costs in Europe. It might be the same thing, right? But I've seen that happen in the US. The Super Bowl is kind of like that, right? Such an expensive ticket to get that you get your diehards from each team that go there, but then you also have like the people that just want to see and be seen, um, and pay for tickets for that reason. So I'm hoping that we get a good showing of nut jobs that just want to go and scream, and I'm hoping that they find those people and put them in the grandstands right by the tee box. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, you need a couple Happy Gilmore fans out there.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
was just looking up. So as you were saying, like, where do we stand? Who's gonna win this? There's only one person that's different on this year's European Ryder Cup team, and it's
Well,
his
compared to
brother
2 years ago.
compared to 2 years ago.
Oh, let's see here.
that's a
Like
problem.
when you look at that consistency of just the quality of player and just that whole team is the same. You went from Nikolai Hogard to Rasmus Hogard. That's the only change. You still
Wow.
got a
Dude,
Hogard.
you can see it. You can see it in the picture. I'm on the Ryder Cup website,
Yeah.
and they're all in their 2024 uniforms in the photos, except for Rasmus.
Yep.
Um,
Even the
eh,
even the captains for their team have been dominant,
Luke
right?
again.
You could put you could go back to Fleetwood and Francesco Molinari,
Yeah.
right? What was that like 3 Ryder Cups ago or 4 Ryder Cups ago when they were just everyone was just screaming about the two of them. They had chants going on about the two of them. And then even got Molinari's brother in here as well as
Yeah.
a vice captain. Um, Jose Maria's in here. Thomas Bjorn, Alex Noren. I mean, the makeup of this team just screams they're the favorite.
yeah,
But is that
and
their downfall, right? Like they just have
Yeah.
too much firepower and we're the underdog?
so here's what scares me even more, right? To your point, Mike, of like everybody coming back. Let's reverse history, right? Let's say the U.S. won in the last Ryder Cup. Do we see a video? Or forget about do we see a video? The scene that unfolded on the European bus after they won. I can't envision that ever happening on the U.S. bus. U.S. could have swept every day, right, and won the shutout. And I don't think we see that type of team camaraderie celebration on their team bus, and
Yeah.
that's what scares me, because A, the European team had that, and B, they brought everybody back.
Yeah.
Is that a European thing though? Because Joe, you've even kind of told me about this stuff with like soccer matches.
Mm-hmm.
Football matches.
The organized
And they
chants
do
and
like all the organized chants and all like. So I almost feel like that's just kind of what they're accustomed to. And I'm not trying to pinpoint that like we won't do chants, but like you're right, like we won't do chants, but you're right, we won't see the party. I mean, like we'll see some champagne popping at the end because we won it, but when we won at Whistling Straits, it, I mean they celebrated. They didn't celebrate like that though. You're 100% right, or that
yeah,
that we got to see.
they're a team of individual silos that are going out there trying to play their own best game. They are not a cohesive unit that's going to go out there and try to play their best team game. Or at least they weren't the last time they came out. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping. Maybe Keegan can like call that out and inject some camaraderie into the squad. But I feel like that's the second notch against us, right? We have the number one golfer in the world, and our squad would be decimated by the 12 that the European team are throwing out there. And that's just on talent. And then you take into consideration that like they also have this sense of, team unity that we don't. That's strike two. All right. We
Yeah.
can't afford to lose anything else.
How much do you think the fact that, like, back to what you were saying, Joe, outpricing everything? So, like, you think about golf in the U.S., you have to be pretty affluent to pick up the game these days and to really succeed. I mean, AJGA, you have to spend a ton of money traveling your family around to go play in these events to be on there. Where in Europe, I mean, you play the local club. You play with friends. Like, you walk down to the local club and you play together. So I think it starts in childhood in the U.S. and moves all the way up. I mean, you see it in even youth sports. We're a very individual nation at this point when it comes to these sports, and it's playing out now. Because back in the 90s, it didn't play out that way. It was very different. the old school way of like growing up with sports was not who has the most money to be the top
Yep.
performer. And it's moved. So like I think that is the fatal flaw. And unfortunately, if we don't change some of that, I mean, not to get deep here for a second, fellas, but I think there's something that's a little bit deeper than just even how we're showing up at the last few Ryder Cups.
I wholeheartedly agree. And my kids are still young. My 8-year-old's just getting into travel soccer now, right? So like I haven't gotten the full taste of it yet, but I've seen it through, some of my friends' kids and stuff like that. Like we grew up and we're like, okay, it's fall, I'm going to play soccer. It's spring, I'm going to play baseball. It's winter, I'm going to play basketball. And like we just went through the seasons, right? It's to the point now where by the age of 8, if you want to be competitive, and by competitive I don't mean like the kids that are definitely getting scholarships, just competitive at the lowest level. You want to be competitive and have a spot on a competitive team, you're playing one sport at least 9 months out of the year and dedicating yourself to that one team. And it's that same, and like even within those sports, they're trying to teach the team sport, but you can definitely see the individuality seeping through all of it, right?
Yeah.
Like these kids have their own individual trainers in a lot of cases, where it's like, hey, on this night you're going to have your individual training, and then you have 2 other nights of practice with the team, and then on the weekends you play games. So it's insane, the monumental shift from when we grew up to what's going on now. And I don't think golf is any different. Like I think it's ingrained in them from an early age too. And like golf almost makes it worse because it is in a sense an individual sport 9 times out of 10. But like so when we're making team sports an individual event, you're definitely going to see something like golf. These guys are only going to know how to play, a very selfish. And I say selfish in the sense of like I'm only concerned about my game. That's how they were taught.
Yeah.
Why is the conversation about the Ryder Cup and not just like who's the captain going to pick? I'm talking about like getting together and playing. Why is that done so late? Why is this not like the beginning of
Agreed.
the year? I've got the top 30 coming out.
Yeah.
I've got the top 40. We're going to get together once a month and just play together, learn together, whatever it is, right? And if this isn't for you, tell me now. You don't have to be here, and I'll get somebody else to come in that wants to be on this team. You don't need to have the best in the world to win this. You have to have people that want to be there first.
Completely.
And
The camaraderie is so important. And, even it's so interesting. Like you watch Full Swing, both of you have watched Full Swing. It's all cameos by themselves. You don't see a lot of hanging out. And
Nope.
there's a couple that hang out together. But Anthony, I love where you're at with that because you have to like find who's clicking. And like you could put the worst player and the best player together. If they don't click, you're not going to get anywhere. If you could put the two best players together, if they don't click, it's not going to work. So you've got to find that. And I love that idea of bringing them together early.
I like that you made that correlation between the hanging out and the camaraderie, because there was one episode where people hung out. Shane and Rory,
Yeah.
they have the camaraderie. Like it's a different viewpoint, right? And Anthony, you and I have talked about this multiple times. I always get our conversations like mixed up. Like I don't know what we've talked about on the pod versus like in the car on the way to a course, right? But I know that we've talked about multiple times, at least offline. Why is there a rotational new captain pick each year? Why isn't this treated like the Olympics, right? Like I think the best example that I've given is Coach K signing a however many year contract to be the director of USA Basketball,
Yeah.
right? So not only the coach but the director, the guy who's going to be game planning, mapping it out, scouting, running off season practices like in between years, right? This should be handled the same way.
I think another question to throw in there. Why does the captain have to be someone who's
He doesn't.
playing golf or have played golf? We have how many college golf coaches that do the pairings on a regular basis for their teams.
Mhm.
High school coaches.
Or retired players that have played in 6 Ryder Cups.
Why
You
not
know,
have these people come back and be the captain? Someone
you
who's
know,
doing this stuff daily.
you could go real bold too and say, doesn't even have to be a golfer at the end.
Does it have to
Yeah.
be a golfer?
Could you bring Jordan in he's played golf with all these guys. He knows all their games. So
Going back to full swing, maybe it should be one of these sports psychologists. Maybe
right.
that's who we should have being the captain.
Yeah,
That's not a bad vice captain pick, right? A sports
Yeah.
psychologist.
Seriously, get them out of their way.
So here I have a question. I was actually thinking through this the other day, and I'm like, this is going to be great to talk about. The captains typically bring somebody in to talk to the team, right? Either the week of or like the day before it starts, right? Mike, who's one person you're bringing in to talk to this team? Who are they running through a brick wall for?
Oh man, running through a brick wall for makes it even a harder statement.
All right, well, who's not to put any pressure on you, Mike, but
I don't think
no,
anyone's going to run through a brick wall.
who's somebody that's going to come in and be able to add value to this team?
Yeah. It's not even just because I'm a Philly guy through and through, but the brand and the image that Jason Kelsey has stood up, the fact that he's involved in golf and tied up with Tom Coyne and doing things, the fact that he's a Super Bowl champion, the fact that he's got all of this other stuff that he's now built outside of golf and how well he articulates everything. I don't know. I watch him and I get motivated to just even like go do my job each day. Like you just listen to what he says. So I personally, I'm just such a huge Jason Kelsey fan, that I'd love him to be in that locker room, putting his Hungry Dogs Run Faster mask on, like exactly getting himself all worked up, because you know that his energy is infectious. It's like Brian Dawkins was back in the day. Like you look at certain people that are able to just infect the room with this energy, and he's that guy right now. And I think just his closeness to golf I'd love to see him up there pumping this team up.
I completely agree.
I absolutely love that pick.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And like, I feel like I would almost hit them with a few, right?
Sure.
So Kelsey comes in like that, right? And then as a surprise, like you have someone like Tiger come in who is always so buttoned down, right? And have him, no cameras, no mics, have him go off the freaking rails, right? Something that these guys have never seen him do in terms of like showing emotion and energy and stuff like that. Like have him do that. And I think, that 1-2 punch, would be insane. On aside from that, I don't know if this was going to work with the audio because I think it filters something out, but you could also do this.
Nothing.
Took it away.
Is that what you're thinking? Absolutely nothing. Have just silence and.
I was trying to play the John Cena entrance music.
Love that.
Well, you took
my mic's
pick.
Too good; it filters it out.
You took my pick. I was going to go with Tiger because I feel like behind closed door Tiger is, you're probably getting Kill House Tiger at that point, right? Versus the Tiger that everybody knows. And I also think Tiger is another Phil Mickelson, right? Yeah. He's been in the trenches. No doubt he's played mind games with people over the years. He's somebody else that can bring value to that team and add a little something that they're not thinking about. I would love to see him as a vice captain right now. I know he doesn't want. I mean, I'd love to see him as a captain, but he's passed on it. I'm assuming he's passed on the vice captain as well. I'm sure he'll be on the grounds. I could imagine him and Charlie hanging out for the week there, but would love to see him as a vice captain driving around with one of the squads out there and putting in some advice or playing some mind games with the other team.
Dude, I think we need the mind games, right? Because we're so far behind on the skill level right now. I think, Mike, I said to Anthony, I said, if I were the U.S. team, I would have each of these guys go to their club fitters and say, I need a new set of my exact set, right? All I want you to do is strike a different number on the top of each club. I want my 7 to show 8. I want my I want my 8 to show 9,
Yeah.
all the way down the list, right? So that way, like
Yeah.
when you're going up, like you very loudly say, "What do we? You have 4 here, 5 here." You pull out your 5, you stick it right there, and then you get them guessing, like, "Whoa, shit! I know that I play the same distance as him." So if we're on the course, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, we're all so vastly different that we got to stick to our own numbers. But like these guys not only know their own numbers, they know their opponent's numbers too. So if they go out there and see that, they might be, "Oh shit, did he really just pull that?" Whatever you got to do, let's get dirty.
Yeah. Oh, you're spot on.
And then
Let's
on
get
day
dirty.
2, let's go 2 clubs in the other direction.
Just keep flipping it.
Yeah, have them three sets of clubs.
So, look, I know I'm not going out on any long branch here and saying that the three of us obviously want the U.S. to win, right? So let me ask this question: um, what does the U.S. have to be at point wise going into Sunday where they have a chance? I'm looking for a chance, right? We have 16 total points between Friday and Saturday to get, right? What do we have to be at going into Sunday to say we've got a chance?
I'll let Mike answer your question.
And a
because
realistic chance. Don't be like, well, I mean, that's anybody's game. Realistic chance here.
I'll let Mike answer your question, and I'll give him a second to think about it because I want to answer it differently. I don't think about it in terms of a number or a score on day 1 and day 2. The most important thing for me, for the U.S. team to get, and that's why I said I want to put our heavy hitters out first. The most important thing for me that I want to get is momentum, because you get a couple points on the board early and you get some momentum. Whether it actually comes into play or not, like you're at least in the back of their minds for the Europeans, whoever's behind, right? In the back of their minds, they might be taking more risks that they don't need to take now, right? And I think that's our only shot. Get a little bit of a lead, right? Where we're going to force them into some tough spots, force them into some situations where now we have an opportunity to get a point. Momentum early is my number one key. I don't know how that correlates on the scoreboard, so I'm not even going to attempt to answer that. So I don't know, Mike, if you want to.
Yeah.
That stab.
As
I like the way you put yourself out there, Joe.
I'm like, let me take the easy road and put Mike under the bus.
Yeah, right. Well, and you have to look at 12 points on Sunday.
12 points off for grabs.
Singles matches.
And we have to be at 14 and a half.
14 and a half.
To win this. They have to have Europe has to have 14 to retain.
If you don't roll into Sunday with 9 or 10 points, you got to have a lead. And you've got to have a substantial lead. Those Sunday matches are going to be tough. You have a Ryder Cup team in Europe that if they're down, they're coming out swinging. If they're winning, they're going to close you out before the fifth group's off the tee box. So we truly need to get out to a fast start. And that's where like Captain Keegs he's got to build these first couple days as you play in these various formats to really take that 10 points, 11 to be safe. But I'd love it. I'd love to see 10 points to come into the Sunday finals. So it's just, you need a few to take it home.
And I'm on the same page as you, right? Like I was writing this down and I'm like, am I really coming up with 10 right now? We have to win 10. And I'm like, oh, come on, we have to figure something. I'm like, all right, so 9. But then I'm like, I can't go any less than 9.
No.
How many points are on the board for Sunday?
12.
16 on the first 2 days, and then 12 on the final.
To me, Keegan has to put together teams, like you both said, that are high-powered, a lot of energy, and we're out here to get points right out the gate.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody that does not get put on for Friday and Saturday. I am not here to hand out a participation award.
Yeah.
It is time to be hungry for points. If you go and you end up winning the morning session on Friday and you go 4-0, okay, maybe you can give somebody a rest in the afternoon, right? But you certainly can't be given your best rest in the afternoon if you don't win all 4 of those points.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
What's that?
I get what you're saying and where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody gets a rest.
Oh,
I
no,
think
I'm with you. If you wanted to give anybody a rest, though,
yeah,
you
if you
have
wanted
to
to,
be at a
if
minimum, you'd have to win all 4 sessions.
if I'm the
all
captain,
4 matches.
I am foot to throat the entire time because you don't know what's going to happen on Sunday. You might get swept on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I am foot to throat the entire time, riding the hot hand. And I'm telling everybody that now, right? I've talked to you before, separate from golf or any other topics, Anthony, right? Obviously, I haven't been running in any reasonably close time frame. But back when I used to run all the time,
I believe it's pronounced jogging.
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 The J is silent.
Yeah.
So when I was at the peak of running, right? So my brother and I would run around Pennyback, which is 2.5 mile loop, and we were trained to we were running 7.5 miles at a clip, right? So like running 3 loops would be perfectly fine. Our normal was 1, just from a time perspective, right? Normally it's after work, we get there, we still have to eat dinner, so we would normally run 1. Occasionally we'd be like, okay, tonight we're going to run 2. Again, I'm trained at this point to run 3 laps and run 7.5 miles. If he says to me, we're running 1 loop tonight, and then I got there and he said, hey, I changed my mind, let's run 2, haywire. Mental explosion, can't do it. If he said the same day, we're running 2 tonight, no problem. In that same vein, I'm Keegan. I'm telling all these guys, every one of you better be prepared to go out and bring the heat twice in a single day. You might get called, you might not, but I'm expecting every single one of you to be ready. I'm riding the hot hand. You're hot in the morning, you're going back out in the afternoon. So all of them should be mentally prepared to go out twice.
And I agree with that. I just think, so the morning I believe is 4 ball, right, Mike? Correct me if I'm wrong here. Mornings are 4 ball.
Yes, we have.
And the afternoon is alt shot, right?
I think it's foursome and then 4 ball. So is it alt shot and then
it's alt shot in the morning? I guess the point that I'm making is
way, yeah.
You're going to have teams that are better. They're better prepared to play or better equipped to play with each other in alt shot versus 4 ball, and then vice versa, right? So you may have to sit someone for another team that like if you have 4 ball in the morning and alt shot in the afternoon, you might have an alt shot team who's just not a 4 ball team, and you need to put them in the afternoon. So
and that's fine.
That would be the only reason I could see a rest happening. But I'm with you, right? Like, again, this is not a participation award. You better be ready to go out and play 5 rounds of golf in 3 days.
I want you ready to play 5. I might call you to play 1.
I need you to end these things by 11, hole 11. You want rest? End it by 11. That's how you're going to get rest.
I'm not above public shaming too. Who was it? Scotty and Brooks that were paired last year. Hey, Scotty, remember what you and Brooks did last year? You better be doing the fucking opposite in your match this year, because you guys are off that course, in record time last year. I expect you to be doing that to your opponent this year.
Look, I know I can't bring what Jason Kelsey can bring to the team. I get that, and that's a fantastic pick, right? But bring the 3 of Keegan. If you need people to come in and just get this team fired up, you've got 3 right here at Golf 215. Reach out. We'll be there.
And we have plenty of Kelsey jerseys too.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll have that team ready to run through a brick wall.
Know it.